Hello and welcome to another episode of SqEngineering. I'm Sprutis and we are jumping right back into the lovely oiling system. And if you've seen the previous episodes, you've seen the lines, both hard lines and soft lines getting completed. So we basically only need to make one bracket and then we can start on the power steering lines. And the plan is to fill up with oil, etc. Crank the engine, get oil throughout the entire system, and then start the engine, run it for a while, and hopefully there are no leaks. I don't think I will have time to do that today, but eventually, sometime in the future, that will happen. So I will get changed and get started. So you haven't seen anything yet, but I've been working on this little bracket for a very long time. I've been running between my spot and the room where we can do some forceful work, and it started to crack, so it's separating. So I will need to make a new one, but that might as well be for the best, because this bend have been bent back and forth a million times, it feels like. So I will reuse sort of this shape and this middle area, and then I will just take a square edge, hold it against the oil cooler, mark on here where the bend need to be, bend it, drill a few holes and be done. So I tried to go with a different piece of aluminum that I had. Turned out to be softer, so it went bye-bye. So then I found, well, not this one, it's a different thickness. I think this one, not that you might care, but that might be the same aluminum quality as the smaller one I just showed you. But I managed to make a bracket finally. So let's have a look at that. So down there you can see that it's sitting in place. It's not tightened or anything. And then here you see that we have 2 screws. So we finally have something, so that's nice. And I will trim it and so on, because we have a radiator going here, so we need to cut that off. And currently I'm actually quite happy with how the cooler is sitting compared to the radiator beam down there, support beam. So I think we are onto something. But you can see that there's a small gap here, and that's because of this area of the cooler protruding a bit in that direction. So I might need to do something about that. It's just a little bit down here in the middle, just so that it can be more nicely sandwiched in between. But I think we can save that for tomorrow, which will be in a few seconds. And also because I haven't really recorded much material to be a complete episode. But yeah, we are finally getting there, unless I damage something else tomorrow or whatever. But I will see you in a few seconds. So it's the next day, and basically we know that the bracket will fit. All I have left to do on that is to cut off some excess and make it a bit nicer. So let's shift focus. I will need to do some aluminum welding, and the big welding machine that you've seen that I use for the stainless steel exhaust, etc. That one can do alternating current, but it's old technology, so there is no frequency modification, no sort of the other thing that you change for AC welding. But anyway, it's 50 hertz, and because that's what we have in the socket. So I will test it out, because and another reason is I only have a little gas left, argon. So I don't want to start a welding project and then just a few minutes in it will run out. So I will take advantage of the remaining gas and test it out, basically. Another thing is, due to safety rules here in garage, if you use something like grinding, welding, etc., hot work, then you need to stay for an hour, so just to be on the safe side. So it's good to take care of this early on, now in the evening. So I will get changed, get the welding setup ready, and then we can test it out. So here we have my little welding setup. I have the DTB 250, and I've grounded this vise. I just have the scrap pieces you saw a few minutes ago. We have some filler rod, and I've replaced my tungsten for one that's meant for aluminum. And I will just change the settings on the welding machine, and then we can get going. are skipping that and focusing on this. This turned out quite okay. I haven't welded aluminum for a very long time, and never really with this welding machine. These look terrible, but I suspect, and also just for so that you can see different setting, more like a sausage, and then things that come out from the behind. But I think the welding machine is not really liking when the gas pressure is too low. Maybe you could see that in the video, that it was sort of starting the arc but not really getting going until sometime later. So it's yeah, I think I need to redo this test with some actual argon gas. I had argon gas, but a bottle that is filled, and then see how this works. And also this is very ad hoc, so none of the parts are cleaned, not sanded, not. So basically I was starting off from the worst possible starting point. I just wanted to see what happens, so don't judge me on the welds. And the important thing is that we have a machine that can get two pieces of aluminum together, and when I test it with a full gas bottle, if it's still not really working that well, then I might just make a few tacks and then go and use another welding machine that I'm more comfortable and used to using. And still, this is very fun, so it took some time, but let's continue with other stuff. So everything is taken away, so let's shift focus back to the bracket. Need to cut this and shape it in a few different ways. And I also have the compressor cover here, because we need to cut off this little bend so that we can adapt it better to this dimension, and also get the pipe to come out a bit more. So let's get to grinding. So here we have the parts after a bit of modification. So the bracket, it's not the prettiest of brackets, but yeah, no one will see it except everyone on the internet who wants to see it. But never mind that. The compressor cover, so I grinded down the weld because originally this compressor cover is made for a V-band, so the material goes out quite a bit. So when I welded it previously, I could basically melt that into the pipe, which meant that when I ground down the weld, a crack would form. Not really a crack, but the opening would be revealed again. So the important bit for this is the distance between this and the oil drain, which is somewhere here. And then we have the pipe that I cut away, and as you can see here, it was adapted to cover the majority of the outside diameter. So this will be modified later on so that we don't build anything, so that the pipe basically sits like this and not like this, just to gain as much clearance as possible. And you also see this, I can't remember what this coupler is called, but you have this single, on the box it says V-band, but it's not really a V-band. But anyway, this will be used. These are from AliExpress, but I've had the majority of them I've had for many years. I just haven't had the time or energy to install them. So the only difference now is that I bought a few 3-inch. And this one, for example, is 2.5-inch. So that will be welded. Another option I will see is to weld this V-band directly. But then we have this, which is then building up towards the oil drain. So that's no good. So I think the best option is to have some sort of pipe pushing it out a bit. So I'm not really sure what we've accomplished in this episode. We've done some cutting and welder testing and yeah, but every step counts. So at least it's some sort of progress. And this will have to be it for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay safe. Take care. Bye bye.